Restoring a dial on an old watch is a very tricky situation. It doesn't take much and you can really mess it up fast. This dial's got some water damage, a lot of pieces are off of it. Anything aggressive you want to stay away from, like isopropyl alcohol. From experience, there's a lot of these paints that if you even touch the dial with isopropyl alcohol, stuff comes right off. The problem is, if you mess up the face of a watch, it's tough to get a new one, and where are you going to go from there? It doesn't matter if you have everything working. If the face is bad, that's not a good thing. What I find the trick is do as little as possible. To go as mild as we can, we're going to go with a little bit of soap and water. Put a little bit onto a cotton swab. Keep everything gentle. You do not want to scrub. You want to roll. Keep everything steady. I'll put it in a vise. In a spot that's inconspicuous, we're going to take and just roll over it and see if we can remove some of this debris. Watch the marks very carefully, because if you start to see the marks disappear, you're going to want to stop. Work in a small area like this will also show you how aggressive you can get. I'm finding with the soap and water I can go pretty aggressive. In fact, I can start to scrub a little bit and I'm not losing any of the detail. You can already see just with the soap and water that we're starting to lose some detail on Made in Hong Kong. Now if you noticed, I didn't do any work on the logo itself up here, because if this started to go, that would be unfortunate. The dry cotton, I'm just kind of rolling over the entire area. Just here on these very dirty areas, I'm trying to avoid any of the ink and just trying to take off the debris. In fact, it looks like this dial's been worked on before. This almost looks like glue that was put on. With a brass pick, I'm just going to go in there and just remove the glue ever so gently, trying to stay away from the lines. At this point, what I'm trying to do is just remove the dirt, and if I get too much water on the face, I just wipe it off. It just seems like I'm able to scrub pretty aggressively as long as there's not too much water on the face. At this point, I'd say we still have a lot of the features on there, but we haven't lost the essence of the dial. I'd like to get a little bit more of this dirt off, but I want to watch the detail very carefully to make sure that we don't lose any more than we have to. I want the dirt off, but I want the detail to remain, so I'm just watching it very carefully, going very slowly. Now we can start to glue on all these raised pieces. Mix up a little epoxy glue and place the smallest amount of glue that you can. Place these delicate pieces into place. Some of the back of these little pieces are pretty dirty, so that's got to be cleaned off before it can go back together. Unfortunately, one of the pieces dropped to the ground, and when that happens, it's a real problem. I've had real good luck with a paintbrush, just pulling everything off the floor. Finding these parts, a soft brush like this usually works pretty good, but so far, no luck. I just found the part. It was about 20 inches away. I just saw it. It's somewhere in here. Dropping parts is rough. You can see it right here. Brush method works pretty good. Now we've got everything placed back in. The movement was completely seized because of moisture. Soaking it in paint thinner overnight, it's working a lot better. When I pull it out of the liquid, it's still running. Add a little bit of Mobius 8000 to the pivot. Very small amount. With a little oil, it's running a lot smoother. The date dial is in pretty good shape. Place the dial back on the watch. Screws to keep the dial on. Now the crystal on the watch is in really bad shape, but you'd be amazed at what some sandpaper and buff. Start in with some 400 grit sandpaper. There's a lot of deep scratches in there and one crack. The major scratches are out, just not the crack. With some 2000 grit, it's really starting to shine up. Polish up the crystal. Now that looks a lot better. We'll place the hands back on. With the hands on it, everything springs to life. We'll place the movement back in. Place in the crown. Place the anti-magnetic shield on. Spin on the back. Now we've got a working watch with all the original parts. For $5, this restoration turned out real nice. I really like this dial at the top. Everything's working as it should.